Alright, folks, welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第522天 is day 522. Get into our word
农炮
choices. 农炮. Nong is the weak one. It's plus. It's more of a if you know it or you don't. It is classically nong, so no read issues there, other than it's simply pus. So you just got it. And then pustule, pal is bubble, so something that's bubbling or pustule is good. I think in general, pus and pustule is more or less the same thing. This is like kind of describing pus, which helps out because not a lot of the other things are. This is of the body is how I look at it with the moon radical. It's a read attached to of the body, so pus can be found on a living object like the body.
农炮荞麦
Qiao Mai. So Qiao is again a know or you don't character. The bottom, there's no re conflict, so the bottom is Qiao. And then it has flowers, so it can be related most of the time related to some sort of plant. Although since you don't really, it's either you know it or you don't. Luckily for this one, my is wheat. And even though it's wheat, my is like a really special, like my is probably weaker than qiao because it's difficult to know if this is my. So my is one of those things that don't follow slap a flower and a reed on it. But this actually doesn't look like my. It's actually kind of concerning. How did I even encode this? However, if I know my, it can help me know that it's buckwheat. What the nature of qiao is. The difficulty here is my is a character that I would say, will eventually encapsulate the meaning of a wheat. Now, qiao doesn't say anything, right? Qiao doesn't say anything because qiao on the bottom, that's more characteristic. The most common encapsulation of this character would be bridge, a type of bridge, at least in my opinion. Like early on, this would represent something that is somewhat akin to a bridge or some sort of like long object. And that's why this one requires aid. And then my is knowing that this is going to be the encapsulation of wheat, at least in my opinion. That's kind of the order in which I learn the stuff. So Mai is kind of a tough character. I guess we'll see how long that can last. I don't think there's very excellent. Mai is very unique looking. At most, it resembles Lai, but squished. So it feels more like a pivot from Lai. So if you imagine Lai, right, and you smash it on top of I'm gonna call that winter. That's winter. So you smash wheat to come winter, right? And it's a pivot from Lai. It's a modified Lai. I don't think anything looks like my here. So I guess we'll see if I have to adjust that. That's actually kind of a tough one.
荞麦赝品
Yanping. This helps a bit. Yen sometimes get caught up with the other yen. So there's yin, the wild goose, which is right on top of yin with this yin with the shellfish. So you could say the wild goose shellfish, the fake wild goose, right, versus the shellfish. This helps me because what can be fake? Well, a goose product is weird to be fake. So fake product can be fake. That can help me out. And ping is incredibly recognizable. That's kind of the choice on that.
赝品
Yeah, ping.
跛脚
bo jiao. Bo is uncharacteristic. Jiao is your encapsulation. So jiao, actually, jiao is kind of encapsulation, but it not the greatest example, because this is, again, the moon is a body part, and the right radical, like this thing, is jiao. That's what it sounds like. It sounds, looks, quacks like a jiao. Now the problem with that is it's not quite that great, because che, yeah, che is the base of this, and che isn't even the most common read of that. Jiao and che are exceptions to this character, this radical, which has your rong and your yu. Rong having the hat, the little like roof thing. So yu is, and gu is the exception. It's weird. So this one's kind of a tough one. This is definitely a tough one. Jiao, that's why jiao became like the default for me for the foot part. So it's for the meaning that is the default. Everything else just kind of falls by the wayside. And since I know jiao quite well, it helps me figure out what this is, which this is a 50-50. Skin on the right can be P, or like a P, any form of P, and then it can be a bo every once in a while as well. So like if we go here and we look at skin, there's gonna be an example of po, B, P, and occasional po. So po BP, po BP. So BP, right? The p and b with the wo and e, and it's a mix of all of them. Obviously, there will be exceptions, right? There are two exceptional exceptions. This one is very difficult. I stopped on this one before because it's the hay bale situation. It's not the it throws me off. So, and then bay is a throw off too. So these two are really tough, obviously, while the other ones are a bit of a it's a this is a like a 40-40-20 situation. There's no discernible way other than knowing their context. So in this case, when we think about the foot, right, the foot on the left, it can be complemented with jiao. And this is to be lame, as in lame with a limp, lame. Which I didn't think of it that way at first.
跛脚魏燕
Wei Yan. So Yan is the weak one. Yan, this right character is Yan. So it's a yin sound, and it's next to the mouth, which is another like large group where you take so instead of like a moon for the body or a flower for a plant, etc., it's the mouth. So it has to do with something that comes out of the mouth, and it's usually paired up with a sound. And the strongest read for this is yin, a form of yin, and in this case it's yin for 4. And Wei is also very strong. The top part is Wei, this top part, and in this case, it's a Wei attached to the heart, so it has something to do with the heart, like figurative or literal. So in both cases, these express some sort of conciliation or consultation, or you're trying to console someone. So they will benefit from each other. Yin is the weaker one. Wei is the stronger. So if you're trying to console someone by expressing condolences, it can help out. Well, that's kind of why I chose that one.
胃咽
Okay.
胃咽脓疱荞麦赝品跛脚
All right. We got our next 5.
道康
Oh, Kang. Kang is the weaker one. And Kang, because it was an English problem. I totally misread the English word. Like for maybe 1 to 2 weeks long. Totally read the wrong English word. So it's chaff, not chafe. Chafe only has 1 F. Chaff has 2 Fs. So, and then the other like alternative meaning is chaff and husk. So like husk, like the skin part of something, usually of some sort of plant, and then chaff being like gentle or friendly or something like that. So this character actually has both of them. So I have to quickly recode this. And to help out, we added dal, which is a weak one. Dal is a weak one for like a rice plant. It's still fairly weak, largely because this radical combination here, the mortar and cleats, which is like a sharp object, and cleats is a sharp object and like a grinding thing, is what I have been referring to it as, is really tough because it's a flex, and it gets confounded by there are a lot of dowels. So tread, the foot helps out. So this side dal does kind of hold up to some of the reeds. So this is a pair. We have the rice plant, which we have the grain to help out, and then we have the foot for tread to help out. And these are our 2 pairs. So they don't group very well. The good news is the only place that this can overlap with is the flex on Yao. So Yao is a lot harder because Yao, there's no other pairing for Yao, and it is the right radical. And then we have the flex to Tao, right? Tao, or the water part, water being torrential, right? Ladle is just yikes. Ladle is a yikes. And then the other ones use the dagger or the mortar pestle. So I'm pestle, mortar and pestle for the stuff. So they get mixed up sometimes in the bunch. It's kind of a tough one. The good news is Dao Kang makes it so that it complements. Now, what's up with Kang? Kang is a 50-50. Because you have Kang. So Kang is pretty strong because you have Kang for health, and then you have Kang for generous. Now, it's not the only one. So we still have tongue with the mouth. Actually, Kang is okay. Let's see. Hold up. Is it good? I don't think so. Because Kung has, okay. I think it's only 2. I don't remember anything else. I gotta remember that the water for the snowflake, but the water is identifiable from Kung. Like these are the 2 that I need to differentiate from. Oh, Tang and Kung. In terms of Tang, I believe there's another once, or maybe it's just Tang. Or Tang, yeah, Tang, and then there should be Tang as well. So there's multiple. Yeah, okay. There's the 2 Tangs. Oh, Tang uses something else. Just kidding. I'm thinking of soup, which is using a different pair. It's the Chung pair. Okay, go back. So hopefully these 2 help out. Dao has to be
道汤，抽烟，
Yen. I don't know why this was not a vocabulary word by default. So Chou Yen. Yen is weak. Chou is actually pretty weak too. Because it screams Zhou or Yo on the right. And these combined though it's good. Yen is out of like contention. So the bottom is Yu, Yu, any form of Yu. And that's just tough. And also I don't say this very much. So or
抽烟，
I suppose people don't I don't read things too much about the smoke too often. I know Chou Yen would be to smoke, like just based on the sound. So that's kind of what I'm gonna rely on. Hopefully. Unfortunately, both of these are different reads. So both of these have read problems. Which, because they're not really like dominant characters. This is a pivot. And this isn't even a pivot. It's I guess you could kind of say it's a pivot because the initial is similar. The initial is the
芡
same.
粉，
Tianfen. Okay, this is a either you know it or you don't. So the nice thing is fen. Fen can help out. It's a type of powder. So cornstarch or starch, basically starch powder, defaults to cornstarch in Chinese. Tianfen. Have problems with qian. And the read is pretty rough. Sort of. The read is a pivot. This is jian. The bottom is. Oh no, it's qian. I don't want to talk about it. No, this is fine. So this is the qian with the flower, but you have to know what it is, which you really don't. It has to be you know it or you don't. So fen. This is also fen, right? Fen plus the grain. Although this defaults for me for powder, so that's nice. So we're just using it as a way to remind ourselves it's some sort of powdery substance.
芡粉，搀扶，
Chun fu. Chun is wild. Chun is like I imagine that's simplified. And like if there is a kanji of it, it's probably something like the entire top right might have changed or something. This is one of those monster things. There are a couple of them. I think like it's not the same as like rope and turtle. That's not what I'm saying. This one, the reason why they're kind of monstery is because there's a lot of different radicals. They're not seen as one character. So turtle and rope, while writing it is very complicated, this there are many already existing parts to it. So there's a draw, Juan. This is Chan. There's like yeah, Sha. If you obviously there's a lot of homonyms and it'd be very difficult to know which ones I'm talking about, but you have to imagine it in your head. It's it's a character that has 5 or 6 well-known radicals in it at the same time. Not a like a master character or a unique character. These things, all of these things are not unique to these characters. So these are the tough ones. I think these are the ones where finding the meaning is tough and finding the read is tough. Because if you look at this, you don't know which one it is. Like at most, you could see it as 3 separate things. The top right here, the bottom right, and then the left. The left rarely ever gives you a sound card or a sound read. The bottom right, that's more like mian or tool. Or a tool, I guess a tool like a rabbit or a hare. Or mian, you could go for like excuse and stuff like that. The top right, there is a stack, but the stack is not accompanied by something very common. So it's wild. This one, Chan is very tough. And that is to take by the arm. It's funny because I say that, but there's also Chan for glutinous. And that is the safe that's the silver lining. There is one other character that has this entire combination of stuff. Actually, I'm kind of curious if the top part exists. Yeah, so there's no dagger above a mouth, basically. There's no dagger above the mouth. So these two are in their own island. And that's pretty much how I'm gonna try to remember them. Like by the arms, and then the other one is gluttonous for the food on the side. And I think I already written the mnemonics so that they overlap. The right one is pretty okay. Fu for aid. Fu in Japanese as well. Fu. So you lend an arm and aid. So you take the person by the arm to aid them. So lend an arm to support. I don't know what part of this is gonna scream other than Charlie Brown trying to help. Mm-hmm. Yep.
搀扶
We're gonna have to rewrite this because this is way too arbitrary. Like it's way too arbitrary to trigger. I'm not gonna write all that. And also, I think to me, if you're going to translate something in English and you're doing a learning thing, don't abbreviate English words either. I think abbreviating English words is a netspeak consequence. So like using SB for somebody, don't do that, at least in my opinion. I think that kind of is trivializing language while also like it's not showing mutual respect. So whenever like abbreviations like this, right? When you do something like ABT, SB, AN is AMB a thing? I don't know. Like something like that. Or oh yeah, like ST. This doing this when you're learning another language is, in my opinion, shortcutting English. Like the user can do that. So I'm okay with the idea that the user will abbreviate that. But a learning device, something that is presenting learning, proper, right? This is not proper. So whenever I see that, it looks like it's an afterthought, which is what's happening with a bit of the dictionary stuff. Whenever you use SBT, I'm like, okay, but I imagine this stuff will subside if you use like machine learning to compensate for what I would respectfully say as lazy programming or lazy human stuff. Like humans are lazy, right? Not a bad or a good thing, saving energy, right? However, that does not excuse the reference material. So that's just my 2 cents about that. And then we had to refresh there.
道康
Gotta get back to where we are.
抽烟芡粉芡粉搀扶
So things like this, like to support somebody, SB, that's in my opinion really inappropriate. It's incredibly inappropriate. To me, like if someone who writes English like this, what are the behavioral consequences of learning a target language? Probably have these shortcomings as well, and they are going to be likely shortcomings. I think being complacent when providing educational material, one does not, in my opinion, be complacent about educational material. To me, that reflects social media and content creation. You can choose to shorthand and share your opinions and make things simplified, as in like you can make things as simple as you want. And simplifying those things is the cost of comprehension. It's the cost of being comprehensive as well. So I'm not the biggest fan of, for myself personally, like if I'm gonna write a book or write educational material, me showing shortcuts, me shortcutting things will reflect and be passed on to the person who's using like what I'm responsible for. That's my prerogative. So if the developer says, yeah, everyone knows this, it's like, well, everyone on the internet, that's besides the point. They'll say, I'm okay with this, I'll take the consequences of this, and that's fair. So I'm not dictating they should change this to somebody. It's my commentary on, I did not make this product. Hypothetically, if I did make this product, I would not take shortcuts like this. Largely because my integrity would be on the line about being comprehensive both ways, right? It's kind of, to me personally, emotionally, it's a little bit disrespectful. Largely because, like, if your professor comes in and they speak like they're cutting corners, or they're giving notes like they're cutting corners, then the odds of your students cutting corners will be guaranteed. And not only would they cut corners, they will cut even more corners than the corners you have cut. The person who's instructing, the person who's making the content is in the world of the internet, which is kind of how shorthand works in the internet, is that the shorthand is the ideal memory. So if they aim for the ideal shortcut, then they can only get the shortcut or worse, not aim for higher and get average. So this type of thing, I mean, it's far more common now. Not that it's a bad or good thing. It's technically a bad thing for me, because when someone types and half of their sentences have SB, I have like I still read it as somebody, but to me it tells me that that is the extent of their English. So whether that is a good or a bad thing, we'll see in the future. For myself, always aiming for better or more and then settling on shortcuts is the ideal case of presenting educational material. Like, you write somebody, the user can SB it. It's to produce comprehensiveness or encouragement for comprehensiveness before shortcutting. It's one of those things like online you would hear this all the time, or you hear this pretty much from most people who are foreseeably experts in their area. You learn the foundations, you learn the comprehensiveness before presenting shortcuts. As the instructor, in my opinion, you set the bar. So when you set the bar on a shortcut, then your clientele and the people expect that the shortcut is the standard. So if I'm going to type SB on my reference material, I'm assuming that one day they won't know that SB means somebody. They will know SB means somebody, as in when they type SB, they will see it as the meaning for somebody. But spelling somebody will cease to exist. How I know this for sure, because I do have a tendency for shorthand. Before I started learning, like, using translational methods to learn these things, and sure enough, my spelling improved in various ways. Maybe in like the 2%, like the 2%, the words that I haven't typed in a while. I had to improve my spelling because of my shorthanding. So regardless how expert you are or whatnot, a shortcutting is not a decision you make, in my opinion, as an educator, like someone who's interested in educating other people. You don't shortcut. The person who's using your information may be able to shortcut and teach you something about their shortcut. But personally, this is making a decision for the person. I think that happens a lot online. I don't think it's intentional, or like, what I mean is I don't think it's intentionally malicious or deleterious or anything. I feel like things like this reminds me, or is a good sign to remind myself that programmers and people who want to make studying easier are not necessarily teachers. So, and then teachers, not all teachers are created equal and belong to the same generational philosophy. So I want to say this with as much respect as I can. I personally think this stuff shows laziness in a product, personally. Anyways, and then obviously you could counter argue, well, you can just add all your things. Like, yes, I do that. It's not a complaint, it's a commentary, right? How do I circumvent it? I know how to circumvent it. So that's what I'll do. Doesn't change that SB is not somebody in English. Like, literally the word some and body is not SB. The meaning of those two are the same thing. So it's one. Okay.
搀扶 警戒
Jing Jie. Jing is the weak one. Although it's not too weak. Jie is arguably weaker. So Jing, the right hand is Jing, which actually does have a bit of warn in it. The Jing is respect. So we have respect having the same meaning. Right. Where's Jing? Where's Jing actually? So respect is Jing on the right. However, the closer one is Jing, which is police, which has warning on it. Right. So Jing and this Jing and Jing are related in their sound, while Jing, the two Jings have a bit of a warning in it. And admonish actually has a double on itself too. So we have jie to guard against, which is kind of like admonishing. When you're admonishing someone, you're kind of like criticizing them or warning, making sure they are not able to do something, so you're guarding against. And this admonish is also admonish. So the word admonish is admonish. Wow. So it's like a double double. So in both cases, jie looks like jie with this on the side, and they have various notes of overlapping, and this looks like taking this and adding word down here, which is police or warn. So they both have the same kind of relationship, which is interesting.
警戒
Yeah. Hey. All right.
警戒芡粉倒汤搀扶抽烟
Right. Okie dokie. Let's get into our... we only have time for our character stuff for now. That's probably what we're gonna do for the rest of the month before we transition into like sentences and whatnot. Largely because there's quite a few other things to do this month. That I want to do anyway. Okay. What do they want? Bucket? Probably like a basket. Basket, bucket. I think we're gonna add sweet to it. Bucket is another thing, it's one stroke. That's fine. But we're gonna add sweet to it. Okay. That's what I thought at first.
丝
This one is tough. Very tough. Oh, that is... Oh, it's a flex. That's also a flex. What is the flex on that one?
见陪
Happening. Overlap. Oh no, wait. That's a mistaken identity. And oh no, it's Liang. Oh wait. Is Han just one stroke off? probably one stroke off. Oh, no, wait, we can't take copper. Have to take, this is one stroke off, probably. Gun, yeah. And what about Hun? I was thinking of Hun as a second. Was it not leg at all? Might be animal. Animal and not that, not this Hun, this Hun. Oh, okay. They're all in the same group, but I have to be careful of the one stroke at top. So this one stroke is the difference between Gun and Liang.
Liang.
So Li is on top, but it's not Li. It's probably Li. Oh no. Huh. Is it Li? Okay. So I have the tone stuff. It's in the two. Okay. This is a, you know it or you don't. The tree, this is a sound with tree. So it's very much like sound with flower.
Yo.
Greatness is great is fine. It's about being like greatness. Okay, wrong tone. Prosperity.
Chang.
Wait. I'm not Qian. Oh, wrong tone. I hit 4.
Mao. Qian. Yin.
Or shadow. Negative and shadow. We got the bamboo. The bamboo is a... Dang it. Oh wait, that's fun. For model. Okay. Okay.
Fan.
And, I've been here. The right is like la. Maybe it's just la. Oh, it's probably like la. Just la without the 5. There's a pivot every once in a while to silence this. So this is la, as in like the right is la. And then occasionally, I think it happens with ma, bo, la, be, ma. Something, a lot of the ahs actually. So la, ma are common silences outside of like your typical silence like z and stuff. So la ba ma, right? La ba ma. Gotta keep those in mind. Oh, now this makes sense. Ooh, oh no. Well, it makes sense as in now I have an extra. Oh, wait, but this is G. Seki for posture. But this is or spine or backbone. Oh, that's fu, not fool. Fu for wealthy. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to think about that for a bit. That's probably be a D, which is probably a D. No. Interesting. What are you? Are you a pivot to a T? Hmm. It's probably T. Yep. It's a pivot. This is either you know it or you don't. Actually, we can add a character for this. So weep out loud. There's a combination of weep out loud. Raul. Raul. Yeah, Raul. It's a really weird one, but I think it's probably gonna be T Raul or Raul T, something like that. Maybe. Otherwise, it'd be like some sort of sound thing, like a making sound. But maybe they'll have it. Ooh, T Sheng, yeah, for sound, sure. The howl. Oh, T cool works too for crying. T John, it's a call sweetly. I don't have John. So okay, I was hoping to double dip on the other weep, but cool is pretty solid. Sheng, Sheng won't help because Sheng, most of these like characters deal with some sort of sound, but cool does work. Oh, cool helps out. There is another like whale. Raul is to wail, and that's kind of like weeping out loud too. So I was thinking they might line up. They didn't.
La.
And this one is, if I had to guess, it's probably gonna be like just another exclamatory, so like ma or something like in front. La, la, qua. Oh, that's interesting. It can take on one, which makes sense. That's why I would say one. La la, right? Like la la dui. So technically, if I type la, it should accept it la, but I can kind of see why it would be silence. So do we have an example in which it's silence? Gala? That's another use of ga. That's kind of funny. Ga has like no use at the moment for me. Huala. Huala. To collapse. I think we're just gonna leave this. It's just like blah blah. Bala bala. Bala bala. Long word. Blah blah. Bala bala is pretty funny. Which ba did they use? Oh. Bala bala, yeah. Kind of funny. Okay. I think we're gonna let this go. Okay.
Hung. Li.
Nashi. Prepare.
Chen.
Or sincere. They're kind of lined up together. So for now. Wait, this is another Li. Oh. Or it could be a lung. It's a Li. Oh no, G. Palpitate. Oh, it's a pivot. Dang it. So why Li, right? Grain over child is a G or a Li situation. At least I think. Let me make sure I didn't get them mixed up. Actually, G might be stronger. It's just a G. No, it's just a G. I screwed up. I screwed up. Okay. We want to find something for palpitate. I don't know how much palpitate. It's kind of like to squeeze, maybe to squeeze or like to touch, maybe something like that periodically. To tremble with fear. Okay, to pulse. Oh, 激动. 激动 is okay. To throb. Down. Oh, 心悸, that's kind of good. Palpitation, when I think of heart, yeah, we'll do that. We'll use heart. Something that palpitates. That's a good one. What? Some part of me want to type like Duan, but that's not Duan. Could be Biao. Dang it. Probably Jiao. For dart, for rectify. This one needs help. It sort of is to what did he do? He stuck arrows in the tower. Oh, we could use disguise now. Maybe I'll rewrite it in disguise. Yeah. Or bridge. Let's write it in disguise. So the dart, I type Biao because there is a Biao that exchanges with the Qiao. That is dart. Biao is dart. Arrow is Jian. So, a bit far. Let's do disguise. As opposed to... What do I do? Stack of towers? Towers of the... Maybe I can disguise the towers. Actually, did I write disguise? No, I didn't. If I... Bao Zheng, that's pretty good. Okay. Go find an extra here. Probably rectify. Well, that certainly didn't give me a rectify feel. Ooh, orthopedic. 绞刑. Oh, wait. Is this? Hold up. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Not the same character. Hmm. Kind of like it though. It helps me with orthopedic. The word orthopedic.
脚
Oh no. Come back.
记 力
That one's weird. Oh no. It's probably for bluffing. So this is a 50-50 on the read at the moment. Because both of these can happen. Right? Or yeah. Oh no, it's cactus. That's a misread between who and cactus. Who and she.
几
Contemplate. I don't think I swapped it out for contemplate yet. So oh no wait. This is filtered for Li, not the. Did I write contemplate? I did. I had ponder, but it's a flex. A flex from. It's a flex from. Oh no, it's a flex from Lu. Li and Lu are the. Oh no, it is Li. I screwed up. I think I'm thinking of Stern. Stern is the Li.
蓝
This is a flex between making sure to keep in mind which one's Lan and which one's Lian. Lian Lan are the door stuff. Lian? What was Lian? How did Lian work? Oh no, maybe not. What was a Lian group? Oh, it's letter group. Like all the letter stuff. Oh, not too bad. Actually. That's not too bad.
五
Uh Something bad about the soul, which is obedient. Okay. Do I have a disobedient? Maybe someone that's reckless or dumb? Ooh, knee. What? I guess. Ooh, I mean, that's pretty. That's weak for both. But I kind of like it. We don't have a use for this particular knee. And knee is really weak. The mountain goat is devastating. So if it has a hood, we're good to go. if it doesn't have a hood and it's pretty much tone 4. So it's between the difference between ni and su. Ni and su are the two. Which is funny because in Japanese, ni and su are even closer together. To go against and to go upstream. They changed it up in a different way, but Nisu is really weak. Actually, most forms of Su is Su. Su. Okay. Oh wait, did we add it? Oh dang it. Let's. Wu Ni is good. Add that. And what happened here? Oh, is it like done? Oh, what? Wait, mutant spray? Shun. I don't know how we're gonna get the shun here. Yeah, either this is you know it or you don't, and there is no bailout for proper nouns. You simply know, because they're all gonna be names. The large majority of it's gonna be names. Although, holy lots of entries. Yeah. We'll work on those in a different way in the future, probably.
沈 ha
It's either bang or pa.
复 提
E and D will have to sort out. So this isn't yeah. Or yeah. Huh. Oh, this is the exception. Dang it. Alright. Let's find out if Yol has anything to do with the other Yol. Yeah, this is a pivot. The other Yol is also tough too. Yao. Oh, it is Yao sometimes. Okay. Ayo. Ayo. Oh, Ayo. Ayo. Oh, yeah, that's right. For Ow. Sure. And then there's Ayo. Of course, Ayo. I don't even think these tones are fixed in stone. Like Ayo is, it could be Ayo, which is like 4-1. Like all of these exclamatories can change. They're prosodic. That's okay. Ayo, is pretty good though. We either know it or we don't. Fine. Is that not anchor? If it's not anchor, then it's young. Split open. We kind of worked on this a couple times already. The right is Dian or Tian. Dian or Ding. So the anchor is a stone. Okay. And John is thread. What was our thing to blossom? Split open. Oh. Okay. That's a pass for now. Why do I think this is true?
诗
I meant to type idiot, not it dot.
哟
Ayo. It's more like ayo, but in my opinion, but ayo is the. I don't think I hear ayo. It's more like ayo. I know that sounds very close, but that's kind of, if you hear it enough, you can kind of distinguish it. Like if you speak in English and speak in Chinese, you can kind of hear the difference. However, I don't think it's different when I say like ayo, ayo. It can still like I don't know if I said that in front of my parents, they would only hear ayo, like the W part, the you all, a little bit of the you all, like subconsciously. But I actually say ayo, 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 like as in like getting hurt and stuff. Ayo. Um, it's interesting. It goes the other direction. It goes in the other direction too. Like when you ask a native speaker in Japanese to listen to an English um, person say something, they would perceive sounds that are more present in Japanese than in English. And then over time, you can distinguish between them when you are listening for them or you are self correcting for them. It's very much like tones, right? Whenever tones come up, it's like, what's the difference between, uh, you know, aya versus aya versus aya, right? You're not listening to it, then it takes a bit. I do say ayo a lot, like from time to time, whenever like aya or ayo, when getting hurt, or like interjection, as in like being flustered or forget. You know, when someone like says something, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see. What do we have here? Ghost, and some part of me want to type yen of some sort. And then not. I lost the left. The left is very important, and I don't know what the left is anymore. I'm gonna say. Okay. When is the important thing? It's the cloud. Cloud is the important part, unfortunately. I was thinking more like dollar. Might want to, yeah, yen. That was the first inclination, but maybe we do utter now. What do we have? Long goes. Yeah, let's do utter. Okay. This is just high.
嗨
Heck. It's Ja, not Jan. Ja. And how do I know this one? I don't. Like, what I mean is there's no read. that can help with ja. It's a pivot. I mean, yeah, it's a pivot. It rare read. Ja is a rare read. Actually, nearly all the booklets, I think, have rare reads. The most consistent one is probably Lin with the TP. And then Lin, which is also DP. Yeah, the most consistent is. There's BN, the other BNPN group. BNPN is always together. B and P. Okay. Have I used this word before? No. All right. Give me. Oh, it could be horizontal. So jia, maybe like jia li jia. Li jia kind of sounds okay. Or maybe jia yuan jia. Yuan jia sounds okay. But I think yen is typically second. Like jia yuan or fence. We need a word here. Oh, jia men. A gate instead. Interesting. And then we have jia li. There's jia li. Li's kind of a weak one, but we purposefully. Although jia lan is a little weak too. So it's a bunch of fences. Interesting that jiazi end up being a bamboo fence. So I'm guessing the tree part is interesting. Doesn't really scream that. So here are the other three ways to cluster for fence. Yeah, lan is a fence, li is also a fence, and men a gate or a door. So all of these are okay. We had a jia li, we had a li usage. What was it? Li yuan for like a small wall plus a fence. We'll throw in a jia lan. Jia lan makes sense too. Uh,
深虎
bluff, not boast. Bluff. And then this is a
绿
failed read on ponder. Failed read. I thought this was gonna be inflate, but it's not. It's pun for splash. This is a misread. So this is a pung. So the right is a pung. Inflate. This part is inflate. I went with inflate, but the water is supposed to be splash. So more so. And then we can get a new word for this. There is another word. It has bunker in it. I think it's pao. So like pao, something like that would be interesting. Otherwise it could just be wet. Like shi or something. Oh, there it is. Pung pie. Oh, using pie. Or like very like waves. That's interesting. There's pung who, oh no. Names, more names. To be overwhelmed with, oh no, okay. Alright. So let's think about this. Of the sea. Pung pie is very weak. Pie is a pivot from bang, right? Highly emotional for I'm okay with this. Pie needs a word too. Surging. Tempestuous. Wow, tempestuous. It's been a while. Huh. Yeah, by. Oh no, not ban. By is the weak. By is in I. Okay, tempestuous. I'm gonna write surging and tempestuous as separate entries. Again, same reason for how how it can't recognize those things separately. Like someone just type Jiang.
张
It's probably conspicuous or clear. Okay.
了
Not quite wrestle. It's tease. This one's weird.
烹
That one took a different turn. Pung took a different turn.
撤
It's not right. It's clear, yeah, for the water spraying part. Let's go look at this. It depends. Clear can be two separate things. It could be clear of mind, like things are very clear, or it can be clear as in pure, or it can be clear as in clean. So there are many ways to express this. Which one is it? It's a variant of cha, okay, to like clear up things, like things that are like a problem. It's to inspect and clear up things. So from an understanding standpoint. And cha di, to get to the bottom of something. So to clear up, to get to a bottom of something. To cha, to pass through. Clearing? So clear as in see through, maybe. That's a transparency situation. Possibly. And then qing che. Very, I guess, just pure, like things are clear, pure situation. And then cheng che, yeah, cheng che is just clear and clear. So things are, so it looks like it leans more in both cases. It can be literally clear, transparent clear, like both literally and figuratively, and in both like light or seeing through something, or but largely is clear. It has not to do with cleaning, so there's no cleaning involved, so to speak. And they're all variances. There are different things. Let's pick one that, so cha would be a giveaway. D would be fine too. But what about, do we have any other weak one? No. Cheng is kind of weak, but this is su, or lucidity. So kanji pulls up. Ming is pretty good. All these are super good outside of che, basically. So we can pick any of this. This looks like touche. Changche. I think we're gonna use Changche. I think Changche is the weakest one. So we'll use this one. Okay. Whoops. Tuo. Oh no, cha. Okay, I mixed it up with tuo. It's probably because of the fur ball. Yep. Tuo. Yeah, not tuo. Tuo is my default. So cha. All right. Oh, honest mistake. I think I've done it a couple of times. Well, tuo don't have the hat. And it's okay. Wow, this set is so troll. Okay, hold up, hold up. All right. Oh. Okay. I think we're gonna have to mnemonics this. So cha is. How do we cha it with the welling? Oh, chai. Guy. I not guy. Guy. Welling. Welling in words. Oh, I see the dwelling. Oh man. I actually wrote everything. I accommodated all the different variances. Let's just simplify this a little bit. What was our to be surprised? Cha yi. Really yi for the let's go find another word. So what do we have? Surprised? There's quite a lot of surprises. There are a couple new surprises that haven't been used, like what is it? Dang it. Is it shung? Shung. No. I guess we'll see if they show up. So we got cha yi already. That's our standard. Jing. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, Jing works. Jing cha. I think we'll take that. I can't. There's definitely a surprise recently. I can't. I can't actively recall it until seeing the characters still. Here's another surprise somewhere. Jing is good though. Startle. I often think Jing is 4, not 1.
炸
What do we pair this up with? Lan?
差
Oh, it's Yi. I'm thinking of Yi. No, Ya. I'm thinking of Ya for surprise. Yeah. I think it had a word and a tongue or something. What the? It's wa. Wu. Oh no, it's covered with hands. Oh, I'm thinking of crow off of a different bird. A different bird, not crow though. All of these are woos. Woo. And it's the one woo. The fingers and that's a skill issue. This is a skill issue. There is another woo or covering with hand that uses a different woo with fingers. Which if I look it up, do I have a word here? Oh yeah, it's here. Yeah. Wait, no, that's not it. Wu chu. Let's see if it does actually give me the other one. It's not even what? How does this get added with? Excuse me? Well, stuck together, I suppose.
五
Oh, wait. That's not right. It's tool or plan. So how do I mess this up for Shen? Shen has something on top, right? What is the thing on top of Shen? Or am I way off base? I'm way off base. It's something else. I'm thinking of revolve. How does revolve differ? Oh. I wasn't looking at dart. The darts versus code rack. I screwed up. I didn't look carefully. These two. Okay. Zoku, right? Zoku versus Sen.
足
Non-alkali. There's not a lot of salt shakers. Or no, or teeth, or oh no. Not that. Makes me want to type a ko. Or a go. Or okay. True. Oh no. No, there's no chance for this one. No chance. Yeah, none of these really work. So chu is my baseline for teeth. And then ling is because of the ling on the right. Chu, I went with chu, no, what did I go with? Go, okay. So the reason why is I went with the read is the problem. And the problem of the read comes from the voice recorder. So go, ju are the two main reads, and this is the exception. So this is the one exception to all of the other reads. I kind of just took a gamble. Maybe it's one of them. So how am I gonna do this? So chu is the only one with and the teeth, this thing, like teeth does not come up often enough, and there's no consistency on teeth. Teeth does not carry a sound, basically. It does not carry a sound. Yeah, this is ling because the right hand is ling, and this one doesn't carry like the major sound, so 50, 50, and 1. It's like 50, the, that situation where it's like 5, 5, 1. Okay. So let's go and find like another word. Maybe the word would be performance. So performance honestly could be paired with a bunch of things. If it was right on the nose, would be 出演 or 演出, something like that. However, it could be 表, maybe like 表出, 出表, or expression and stuff, because 表演, 表演 is a thing. 表演. 表演. Oh no, oh no. I forgot the tone. Yeah, I think it's 表演. 表演. Tone. Which tone is it? I think I thought it was 表. It is 表. 表演. 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 Oh no, it's not. 表示. What am I thinking of? Okay. Yeah, right. This is yen. What am I thinking of? Oh, it doesn't have it. Really? Huh. Maybe it's not a thing. Let's go look. Let's go look at this. Oh, opera. Wait, that has nothing to do with opera, is it? Or is it an alternative? Let me guess, right? This is an alternative for chu. Oh, it is. It's an opportunity. Yeah, it's a alternative for chu. Interesting. Oh, well, that doesn't really help, does it? I guess we'll just think of it as chu then. I would have to think about the performance though. That's not great. This is probably a pass. No chance.
文
No chance for now. Uh, it's not red-handed. Oh, this is fool. To caress. That's not DN. So it's probably a DN weighing with the hands. Oh, let's weigh with the hands. Weigh with the hands. How can we get that? I don't I don't know which direction this is gonna go. Is it just weigh? Oh, quantity. Oh, okay. Quantity is good. Yeah, 电量. Wait. 是电量. Okay. This is
福
how do you spell caress? Dang it, there's only one R. That's exactly what I mean by shorthand. I have so many spelling errors. One thing, definitely one of the silver linings about all of this like translational thing is that there isn't a spell checker. So, right, you're not using spell check, which it's an automated process now. And every time I have to go spell lieutenant, I'm like, wait. And things with double letters are wild. I mean, I mistaken chafe for chaff, so, and that's a double letter thing. So it's kind of, it's humbling. It's quite humbling.
鹅，柳，
Sulfur, just coincidence. Do, right, do. Oh no. It's, sh or bite. Or not sh. Or bite. I want to say it's shin, but probably. Oh no. Oh, it's, I know what it is. Shen. Shen for dazzled. Or days. No, that dazzled. Yeah, dazzled. I can't English.
炫，干，
Oh no. Is this offense or something? Or offend? Yeah. Okay. That one's kind of tough. This
破，
one's tough too. It's either you know it or you don't. And it's a 50-50 on the read. This one is atypical. Atypical read. And the meaning is wild.
颠，
Messed up on the tone.
度，
This one is a little bit off on the side. So the metal part, do is on the right. And then you could even argue it's a degree of metal, so something that's plated, like metal plated.
来，
All right. We gotta take a guess at what type of plant this is. I think it's just weeds. Okay.
是，
All right. So
颤，
I want to say repent. Repent, remorse, melancholy, depress, anxiety, discontent. All of those have their chus. Substantial body of them are chus. So gotta spend some time resolving all of the negative stuff like regret, remorse, disgrace, shame, melancholy, gloomy, sad, anxious, discontent. And then we have the more outwardly stuff like hate, resent, grudge, and then the extreme other end, love, desire, pleasant. They're all like Hans and Yus. So Yus deal with, like, Yugi deals with all like the delight, joy, lust, passion, and then the Hans deal with like bold, courageous, and whatnot. And then there's some overlap with like regret, and so you kind of get the sense of which sounds often associate with what type of stuff. But definitely ch, yu, and han, they're really strong. They're incredibly strong, like feeling stuff. What is this? I was gonna say the dual right away, but it could be just do. Okay, it was a 50-50. So this is a flex. It's a flex. Sometimes utterances like this little like mouth thing with a sound carrying thing. This is dual. Dual is the sound carrying. Occasionally though, you can lop off this. And then sometimes you can lop off the first thing. So like for example, oh, it could be like a do, but it drops the like ang, that type of thing. So it can drop either way. So you kind of just remember if you don't. And it doesn't really help what they mean because it's toot. Like, I'm kind of curious. What are we gonna have for toot? It's probably like an onomatopoeia. So, do do is all I can think of. Do oh, do nung, silence of nung. So this is do nung, but they it's silence it because it's at the end, and then do nung. Oh, okay. So both. So do can be paired with both of the mutters. Nung is a mutter, and nung is a mutter. Nung nung. They're both mutters. What else we got? A Tulu, a cluster. Interesting. I don't think that's gonna help. Oh, tutu cha. Oh, tuk tuk. Oh, okay, okay. We can use these. Honestly, I'll add both of these. It's fine. Both of both the mutters do not have a vocabulary word either. And what? Oh, okay, and muttering. Okay, so do is more like that type of sound. I see. Okay. I almost want to reclassify it into mutter. Okay.
都
Shop.
铺
That helps a lot. Japanese helped a lot with this. It's like this is it was a 50-50 between fu and pu. Pu, whichever one. But because of Japanese and the English bridge, I can remember it's pu as opposed to fu. It's a 50-50 on the read. I don't know about this one though. Uh
母
oh no, it's um there is a move for maid that's off for that, off of that. So, however, it's the finger that gives it away. So mu the female is the nanny or the. It's kind of like a flex on someone who is taking care of the house. So that was my bad. I didn't think about the finger first. I want to say this was gua before it's a hut. But if it's a hut, it would be some sort of sha. Sha. Oh, right. This is a pivot. Hut is sha. Sha. Sha sound. So it's a flex. Which honestly, I don't know how this is being used. So let's go get something. 舌子. What? 舌子? Really? 舌子? Oh no, 匣子. Sorry, 匣子. Wait, 啥? Oh, dialect. No. So it's a dialectic thing. Interesting. I think we're just gonna. It's a pass. This screams to me more like 舌子 as opposed to 匣子. So I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it.
啥
And then this is a throw too.
出
Until otherwise notice. Oh, this is how?
好
Alright. Cool. Lots of fun things. I love doing this. This is so engaging. Staring at the dictionary has been, or like using a dictionary now has like 3 or 4 times as more engagement because there's so much to say about all the characters. I think if I had to say organically, or like the word organically or naturally, this would be looking at a dictionary and cross-referencing in dictionary is incredibly rewarding when someone, at least in my opinion, crossed the threshold of a new script. Other than that, I don't think it's as like trying to form foundations from a dictionary is very different from having foundations and looking into a dictionary. It reminds me of, for lack of a better analogy, possibly, like coding. When you understand the syntax, like the functional syntax and the conceptual syntax of a programming language, going into the functions, like you're looking and say, what else can this do? And then you look into a terminology, right? A terminology book or something. That is kind of how I feel about this right now. What I've been trying to change about my routine, like HanziHero's routine is no longer the same. It's not about like reviewing and grinding for, quote unquote, trying to grind out translations. It's more like applying your syntax that you understand and then discovering what other uses you can use for your syntax. So now that the foundations of my character studies are way past thousands of hours now. Like we're way past thousands of hours. Now we get to use them. So discovering words, using word discovery. Again, this is not the same as trying to write sentences or speak colloquial Chinese or something like that. That sounds really interesting. It'll be down the line. For now, what this is doing is it's scratching the itch. Like word discovery is fantastic, and my routine now for the up to the next 600, like up to 600 days, is different now. We are trying to. I'm basically describing all the characters. I'm no longer someone who looks at a character and have nothing to say about it. Like we have so many characters, like so many reference points. Having approximately 4,000 characters makes it so that I have something to say no matter what about the characters. And that is the form of engagement that I am relying on. If I'm not actively deducing something, explaining something to myself, I'm not, again, these are not educational videos, so to speak, like they're demonstrations. So I'm specifically demonstrating orally how I'm going through about it. So wanikani, for example, in Japanese, that is what I feel most people do. You go in, you go out. Wanikani is being phased out soon, like in less than 5 days, coincidentally on D5X's anniversary. It's going to be phased out as a reference material. But Boom Pro, that's where my engagement's coming from, because when I'm looking at a sentence and I'm asking myself, okay, that's the part of speech. Okay, this part combines with this part. So I'm doing the same thing in Boom Pro, only we're doing grammar stuff in Boom Pro. And in Chinese, we're trying to do a different take on it. In terms of Chinese grammar, most from the understanding of the characters, in my opinion, is how you understand the grammar. So being able to understand how the characters are functioning is literally, in my opinion, far closer to the bridge to Chinese grammar than it is Japanese. Because Japanese it gives you a different feel. It has like a systemic production. Like when you hear rare, like rareru and iru, itte, katta, like when you hear those things, it triggers a subsystem. So Japanese grammar is filled with subsystems like conjugation and whatnot. Lots of subsystems that's like yo ni, so ni, mitai, right? Mieru, kieru, kakoeru. That those are the stuff that creates grouping for Japanese. So we're engaging in that way, like trying to cluster and create mind webs. In Chinese, it's, in my opinion, far more natural to understand the nature of how characters interact with each other. And then when the characters interact with each other, you feel like the sentence comprehension, in my opinion, goes up. Like, okay, well, these two characters, this is a convention that applies the characterization of something. Like ren being a adjective characterization. So you can probably attach a emotion, something that happens to a person, like they are surprised, or like something that's shocking is shock plus ren, that type of thing. So over time, when you're studying your characters and understanding the relationship between the characters, over time you implicitly end up inferring the grammar from Chinese. At least that's how I feel about it most of the time. So that's the approach we're taking. Now, sometime down the line, maybe in by the end of this year, where I'm gonna go over your fundamentals. So like I'm not saying you should vibe through everything, right? It's always vibe and conscious understanding. So fundamentals, in my opinion, no one is beyond fundamentals. Personally, if you ask me, oh, I've already bypassed and I already colloquially speak English and I already colloquially speak Chinese, do I have to go over my fundamentals every once in a while to see if there are gaps? For me, the answer is yes. No one is beyond the fundamentals. Like, at some point, even an expert must go over the fundamentals to refresh and maintain their fundamentals. In fact, lots of experts, at least in my opinion, people who have, quote unquote, have a lot of experience, when they want to rediscover and sometime down the line when things get a little bit sloppier or start making not sense and stuff, oftentimes they revisit the fundamentals in order to reshape again their weaknesses. So for me, English has been a joy to revisit in the fundamentals because I'm translating. I'm relying on translation to learn Chinese and Japanese. So I'm not wasting my time translating. I'm trying to make sure that as I'm reviewing my translations and my English, I'm covering and reviewing my English fundamentals. Like, whenever someone like explains to me something, they're like, oh yeah, can you explain this Japanese grammar to me? It's like, oh well, this operates kind of like a prepositional phrase. And then someone would say, what's a prepositional phrase? That is what I mean by, yes, you could save a bunch of efficiency by ignoring all your weaknesses or all your complacency using a native language. Again, this ties into how that one entry in the dictionary uses SB for somebody. That is shorthand, and it is skipping over fundamentals. Somebody is SB, not SB is something that's contextually related to that definition. Is to land an arm to support somebody. So for me, that's my commentary. I'm reminding myself. So I don't need to rely on the other person to tell me like, hey, you should write out somebody because I don't know what somebody is. I'm telling myself SB is somebody. So over time, you could say oh, it's efficient if you only care about the things that help you work towards understanding something. Like if you only care about Japanese, then anytime you use English is a waste of time. I agree. Like, I'm not here to gaslight someone who says, I want to become fluent in Japanese as fast as possible. So, one of the first steps I did was to remove all aspects of my native language as an aid as soon as possible to learn Japanese. I got you. That sounds very logically reasonable. That's efficient for that person's goal. My goal is to be as efficient in learning, not learning Japanese. That's a different story. Like, I like to make sure that all my learning behaviors are incredibly well practiced. What is the fundamentals of learning? Being as observant as possible, being active as possible. So whether you're using English to translate into Japanese, if English is not wasteful, if you're observing something about English, and that requires more effort. So yes, it's less efficient if your only goal is to learn Japanese. It's actually more efficient if you care about both reviewing and practicing your English fundamentals while learning another language. Because if you ignore it, then you're being inefficient in my gold standard. Like, my goals are different from the other person's goal. So when someone comes to me, which happens quite often, where someone says, hey, why are you wasting time talking in English and talking about English grammar and using translation and stuff? It's like, because I'm reviewing English. I'm making sure my English is on point. How else am I going to explain things to people who don't care about Japanese or Chinese while trying to find it relatable? Like, how do you interest someone in Japanese or Chinese if they speak English? Well, a person who's incredibly biased and only care about Japanese, well, they would just start to speak in Japanese. It's like, well, you can try convincing someone that way if you want. My inclination is that's a void of emotional intelligence. That's often, you're presuming that because you can speak Japanese, they'll be interested in Japanese when you start talking to them in a language they don't understand. That is kind of my little slight pushback or hot take on these things. And I've enjoyed this process for some time now. Like, being able to revisit why I like grammar, it's pretty crazy nowadays to hear someone say, oh yeah, I like grammar. It's like, okay, so do you practice English grammar while you're learning Japanese grammar? It's like, no, English grammar is boring. I already know all that stuff. I care about Japanese grammar. Like, so you don't like grammar. You like Japanese because the common denominator is a double standard. That happens really often in arguments. Confirmation bias, where someone says, oh yeah, I really love RPG games. It's like, oh yeah, what do you think of the game I'm playing? Say, well, I don't care about that. I like my specific type of RPG games. They're like, oh, so you like those specific games because your English would dictate that you're being general. Meanwhile, that would be the same person that would say something like, well, Japanese is cool for these reasons and English is boring for these reasons. Like, so you only looked at the stuff that is boring in English that doesn't exist in Japanese. But have you noticed that there are fundamentals that is pervasive across all the languages? So to me, that's kind of one of those things. Looking at the differences does not allow you to appreciate the similarities. It is understanding both of them that allows you to be efficiently, in my opinion, efficiently a good learner, an excellent learner for that matter. Comparative analysis is not the same thing as drawing contrasts. So when you think you know your English really well and you think your English is better than your Japanese, right? What aspect are you talking about? Because I would be willing to take a gamble that people's perspective on their English grammar, even being a native speaker, their aspect, their opinion about their grammar is probably a lot lower than they think. Like the actual level of competence of their grammar. To me it's telling, because when I speak to someone about Japanese grammar, I'm using English, so I'm describing the grammar because I can't describe Japanese grammar in Japanese yet. So my assumption, oftentimes my presumption is, oh, okay, well, that's basically a gerund phrase. Like a present progressive presents itself like a gerund phrase when you attach a object marker or a subject marker with the present progressive to a direct object, for example. And like, what the heck's a gerund? It's like, well, it's that ing ending, or you could say it's kind of related to the te form, connected with the iru. However, that's a change of state. So there's perfect state and non-perfect state. And then so what do you mean by perfect and non-perfect? Or like, just what do you mean by past perfect and present perfect? Like, well, you should know that, right? You told me, like, you assured me that you understand English grammar, so you wouldn't have to know English grammar to learn Japanese grammar. Like, it's optional. And that's the difference, in my opinion, between vibing and competence. Competence requires cautious understanding, with vibe. Like, it's both. Comprehension and competence requires both. It's not one or the other or solutions. So explaining things have become pretty routine in that way. Like when someone says, oh, how do you remember things? How do you memorize things? Well, it's not looking at the same thing 1,000 times and thinking it will change the 1,000th time substantially. It's more than that, not simply that. So whenever here's an argument related to HanziHero and Wanikani and Anki all the time, when someone says the fundamental function and boon of an SRS system is exposure, repetitious exposure. And I'm like, well, yes, it is not the fundamental to learning. So like repetitious memory recognition trigger is part of the fundamentals of learning. It is more part of the fundamentals of memorization. So when someone says, oh, it helps you memorize words, I got you. I'm on board. Like when someone says Anki, oh, what do I use Anki for? Mere exposure to memorize things. I got you. When someone says they learn something from Anki, that's a different story. That's questionable. Like some parts of learning, you've done the memorizing part. The memorizing part is part of the learning process. The connections, association, and comprehension are the like follow-up steps. And I think I still feel like the majority of the people, like younger goobers out there who are learning, are not incentivized to do that. They're not incentivized to think that that's part of the learning process, which can be a very tough uphill battle for them. I personally, it's hard for me to empathize. I try my best to explain, but I don't empathize with the idea that you can be satisfied by saying, oh, I remember what that is, and that's it. Like, oh, I remember this. Good. I memorize. I remember this. No new meaning. Just I keep remembering the same thing over and over again. Okay. To me, if I had to be very brutal, like if I was 18 years old, like if I channel the inner blatantness that the internet has, if you go over something and you're saying to yourself, oh, I remember it, it's still the same, you're wasting your time. And what I mean by that is I wouldn't tell someone that they're wasting your time. They will feel it. They will likely feel it themselves. So whenever they forget something, it'll feel like they definitely waste their time. Like, it already feels like a grind and a waste of time when you have to go back through something because you didn't memorize it the first time. And then when you keep memorizing the same thing, it feels like you're treading in place because you should have, you probably hear this a lot for those who rely on this method, is when you forget something, it's like, oh man, I'm wasting so much time trying to remember the same thing instead of moving on to doing something else, like moving on to construct things. So every time you forget something, there's no excuse you have other than you have to spend more time knowing something you should have known. You hear the thing, oh, I should have known this. I should already remember this. Well, yeah, you should have already remembered this. That's not the same as you forgot something you memorized, because remembering something is more than simply memorizing the thing. So all these things, like if you're giving yourself, in my opinion, if I'm trying to be very critical about this, if you're giving yourself a pat on the back and say day in and day out you're remembering something and it hasn't changed, like nothing has changed about it, like you look at this character and the only thing you see is the same thing you have memorized 100 times before just to challenge yourself, then you have learned nothing additionally. Like you haven't learned anything additionally. You've done the memorizing part of learning, right? That's the idea. Learning involves an evolution or consistent increase in the way you use information. So SRS, in my opinion, is incredibly deficient in this, presuming that you follow other people's advice. Other people's advice would be like, oh, now that you have enough vocabulary, it's time to go read some stories. It's time to go read some sentences, right? Or use and write something. That's exactly it. It's the learning part. Now, what I'm doing is an application of that. It's not that I'm going to read stories right away. You don't necessarily have to read stories to learn more about these characters, right? Like you can use the foundation of the characters to talk about other aspects of the characters. And in this case, words are next for me. So now the majority of my Chinese studies deal with knowing the aspects of the relationship between the characters. I'm basically echoing how I answered Drama's question maybe 2 days ago about, do I feel like did my Chinese get better? Well, we have to qualify what he was referring to, and he was referring to the aspect that might not be reflected in this product. So that's what I wanted to go over today before we get into some gaming. All right, let's go over our 91 vocabulary words. So, to be clear, I still work on memorizing things. I also work on a lot of other things. The vast majority of my time is not actually focused on memorizing things. The memorizing part is the shortest amount of time. It is the lowest effort as well. Lowest effort, shortest amount of time to do something. When someone says, oh yeah, I forgot this word again, is because the lowest amount of effort is to look at it and memorize it. So it is most likely the first thing to go. If you're unable to transcend or increase your comprehension or encoding of it, the retention of that word that you're trying to memorize is proportional to how well you're going to remember it. This is comparing you and yourself, not like you and some super genius. Like when you cherry pick someone who has good like quote unquote better memorization skills than you, they are also performing the lowest effort possible to remember a piece of information, memorizing it. So the TLDR, or the hot take, is if you're trying to memorize something and you keep forgetting it, and you're telling yourself like, oh, I just gotta memorize it better, that's gonna be a very unfortunate reality. You don't retain things better by memorizing. Memorizing is memorization. It is through exposure. You retain things through learning. So memorization is part of learning, but you must increase that learning in order to retain something. It's larger than that. Learning is bigger than memorization. Learning is also the lowest effort. The lowest effort, and you could argue that it feels rewarding, right? Like, to me, if what you're doing has the lowest amount of effort and is the easiest, then it is the least rewarding over time. And it's not surprising when someone says, oh yeah, I remember 2000 kanji and I did all this, and yet it feels lackluster. Like, it feels a great weight that's off my table, but it feels lackluster. It was very grindy. It was not rewarding, because when something is grindy, it's not rewarding. When it becomes more grindy and when you burn out of it, it's because it becomes less rewarding. There's no great reward that comes from low effort. So when one thinks, so here's the thing, then why do people start with SRS? It is rewarding at first because you are doing it for the first time. You are learning these things. You are seeing these things for the first time. Eventually, you have to graduate because desensitization happens. You're learning less over time when you're memorizing. When you get exposed to the item and then you recall the item a couple of times, it no longer has a reward anymore. It's up to retention. And retention doesn't give you anything other than what you memorize if you're specifically focused on memorization. So, write a sentence, scavenger hunt the character that you have seen, and then someone's gonna complain. But if you do that, it's gonna take so much time. It's gonna take so much effort. Exactly. That is exactly the point. Like, the more you keep saying, oh, but how do I only get the most out of my time by expending the least amount of effort? Well, then you will get the least amount of reward and the least amount of learning. That's kind of, this is not the same as deliberately being misled. So misinformation and being misled is in a category of its own. So when someone says, hey, the fastest way to learn Japanese is beat yourself over the head to memorize everything detached, that could be a waste of time too. Like, what I mean is, we're not talking about in that case, because that's someone giving you advice and saying the fastest way is to use the least amount of effort to learn something by memorizing it. And that would work for you to memorize things. So, kudos for getting through step 1. And then now you want to evolve. So, like, improve your learning capacity. That's kind of the idea. I'm probably going to be talking about the next 2 or 3 different phases, at least in my opinion, the next 2 or 3 steps of learning soon, because we're kind of over the hump, so to speak, or have sufficient foundations that most of the time it's rarely is a rarely issue of memorization, but now we're talking about an issue of organization. So whenever like I make an error, right, in HanziHero, the vast majority is like, oh wait, so this is either this, or this. There's a 33% chance I might get this, or it can be a rare read. So I'm organizing all of my information. I haven't forgotten all the information. I'm trying to organize the stuff that I have memorized. And through that organization, I improve my retention and my comprehension of something. So I don't sit here saying, oh yeah, I forgot this character because that one stroke, I misread the character. I have to understand why I think this character is like this character and know the relationship between those characters. Like 4 times in today's session was a pair of characters that varied by 1 stroke. Or even 1 to 3 strokes. And the 1 to 3 strokes is 1 radical. And then, obviously for Chinese, the vast majority of them are homonyms. So you have to organize something. And that is my approach to Chinese because of the high homonyms. And then there's some tone shifts. Tone shifts are like misaligned tones. That's a lot rarer, but I still have to take account for that, right? Constantly memorizing the same thing, and then it's like, oh, I forgot it. I'm just going to drill it another 10 times. I think that sounds great on paper, and it's a gamble on how consistent you are and how the drive you have, the motivation you have. And again, I want to express it in a positive but weird way. It's impressive. I'm impressed by people who are capable of using up so little effort and still derive enough reward from using so little effort. Like, personally, I don't see how I cannot empathize with someone who can feel proud and happy that they found their hack, their secret to doing something very, very low effort to potentially getting something high in reward. Because in my eyes, personally, right, as trying not to offend too many people, when you tell me how easy you did something, I'm often less impressed by the results. I'm more impressed by how this person is able to find that rewarding. So, like when someone tells me, oh yeah, this dish, don't worry about it. I only spent like 5 minutes. Doesn't it taste really good? And I'm like, are you happy about this? Like, I mean, it tastes great, sure, right? I'm not impressed with the results. I'm more impressed that that person believes that that's the best they can do. Or like, they're really proud of a cheap effort. You might be saying, okay, well, no one thinks like that, right? ChatGPT. AI. Just think about AI for a moment. I would say more than 50% of youth would be proud of something that they didn't do. Or they would be fine with consistently and habitually producing a product that they didn't make. Because there's a reward in it. The reward is that they have a cognitive dissonance between I made this versus I told someone to make this. Right? One is void of the human experience, which means that it's void of learning, right? It's reduced in learning, as in without the process of learning it, you learn less. And that is what's impressive to me. In a weird way, that's how I can appreciate younger people, where they would say, oh yeah, I did this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, so how did you do it? I just followed this online tutorial. And I'm like, okay, can you explain it to me? It's like, I followed this online tutorial. Here it is. I'm like, can you explain it to me? Can you explain to me what you did? Please. Like, I want to know if you learned how to do the thing. And like, well, just follow this link and follow this link and have this person explain it to you. It's like, you didn't learn anything. You didn't explain it to me. Like, you yourself did not explain to me what you did. You followed the tutorial of which you learned nothing from. Right? It's a bit of an extreme case. Usually, it's about like 80-20. I would say whenever I ask someone, oh, how did you do this? 20% of it would be some of their own feedback and reflection. And 80% of it would be, oh, I don't know, I just followed this person. And then this person, like, I think this person tried to explain the stuff to me, but I don't remember what they said. Like, you know, when I get blasted with images, and it's like, oh, hey, look at all the cool things that I made. And I'm like, okay, can you tell me about this thing? Like, this thing in this picture, can you tell me something about this? Like, well, I don't know, I just took it. And then I just like plug these things in. And I'm like, okay, so did you learn anything about yourself? Like, why did you take this? Why did you do this? Oh, why are you sharing it with me? And that's kind of the tough part. It's usually like, well, I just did it because I can. Okay. How's that rewarding? I don't know. At least for myself, it is very difficult to know what's the point. Like, for them. Like, when someone shows me all these cool things that they do, I'm asking them why. Why are you doing them? Can you tell me what it means to you? And they're like, it's because I can. And that's where the reward is. It's like, what reward? You didn't explain to me what is it that you get rewarded from. And usually it would be as much as, oh, because I got it done. Like, that's not explaining why you did it. I can see you got it done. Like, two people can paint the same picture. And usually the person who gains more reward and meaning from their life is able to explain why they did that in the first place. So, two pictures could look very similar to each other, but I would be willing to bet that the one that can explain why they did something is far happier and more likely to be far more enlightened and experienced than one that simply repeats a process without comprehending, without comprehension, basically. Like someone drawing a circle and following a tutorial on how to draw the perfect circle, and they would go around and show, hey, look, I can draw a perfect circle. It's like, why? Why do you want to draw a perfect circle? Like, because someone said perfect circles are cool. But what do you think? Like, do you feel reward? Like, what are the aspects of drawing a perfect circle that helped you understand something and help you lead to your own goals of some sort, right? Learning a language is very similar. When someone tells me, I'm learning Japanese because I like Japanese culture. Meanwhile, while they're learning the Japanese, in my opinion, speaking anecdotally, they become farther and farther from the Japanese culture. Like, it inherently, when they were learning the Japanese language, they infused and detached the Japanese language from the Japanese culture. So when they talk about Japanese culture, they talk as though they think they know the Japanese culture by enforcing the Japanese, like, the text or something. And my first thought is like, well, I'm not an expert in Japanese language, that's for sure. However, I can certainly have a discussion about Japanese culture despite what this person may be paying attention to. That's kind of one of those things. It's like keeping your eyes on the ball. So, what's a good art anecdote? When you're painting a piece and you got so caught up in the details, you forgot to step back and look at the bigger picture. You have to do both. You have to step back and look at the bigger picture, and also focus on and appreciate the details when they're available, right? Both. The answer is both. SRS, discussions of SRS and immersion and like your hacks, your internet hacks, that becomes a talking topic. It's the core of most of the arguments. Like, oh, that's great. What else are you doing? Like, well, I'm memorizing things. Okay. Hopefully in a month or two, we'll have a different discussion on memorizing things. Hopefully it's not only memorizing things. All right. Let's go through these 91 here. So what do we have here? Right, yes, today we talked about this. Right, 警戒. 警戒 warn. 淀粉 cornstarch. 抽烟 smoke tobacco. 枪服 lead an arm. 高康 rice husk. 赝品 bake. 胃宴 console. 跛脚 to limp. 荞麦 no 荞麦 buckwheat. 脓泡 pus. 肋骨 rib. 鸳鸯 Mandarin duck. This is a pivot. 吟诵 to recite out loud, like oh. Uh-oh. 造诣 level of mastery. 真昂 high. Ling Zhuang. Scaly. Nigo. Nigo. To draft. No roll. Cowardly. Ming Mo. Nope. That is not Ming. Yan Mo. Eyes. Liao Diao. Liao Dao. Liao Dao. Knockdown. Diao Jie. Shining clean. So xie. Trivial matters. Lianggang. Lianggang air dry. I Qiao. How to become enlightened. Or to make something clear. Dan Shang. Admire. Show. And help. Show. Show for the harvest. Nope. Yes, nope. Jiabiao. Use a stopwatch. Si Nue. Si Nue. No, shi. No, si. Si Nue. Wreak havoc. Ling Bo. No, Luo Bo. Luo Bo. Radish. Ying Wu. Carrot. All right. Jingwen. 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 Yeah, Jingwen. What is that? To jerk? Mensheng. 闷声不，闷声不响。Keep silent. 痴呆 imbecility. 舒压 alleviate stress. 谄媚 flatter. 钟爱 treasure. 混沌 wonton. 豚鼠 guinea pig. 挣扎 struggle. down you. Still pretty weak. 赊账 赊账 buy and sell on credit. 下缺 no 下缺休缺 shy 傀儡戏 puppet show 触笔 vertical stroke 为lofty 嘶吼 yell 姿势体的 no small thing 劲爆 ambition 责乎 yell or bluster kinda like yelling sort of 伶俐 clever 瘸子 bloodstain 蛋房 warehouse 勉强 deal with difficulty 后门 knock on the door 纸鹤 paper crane 器皿 household utensil 鸡蛋 bit by bit 菱形 oh no 理形理形 rhombus oh no it is 菱形 dang it I didn't trust no trust No trust. 这什么？是炸狗鼻屎booger 芙蓉 hibiscus 小翠 haggard 进入 seep into 稽查 inspection 夜宿关 crepuscular rays highly oyster 梨园 vents 蚕茧 silkworm cocoon Lisa maroon 映流 gush 花蕊 stamen 蟒蛇 python 藤梅 lentil 鸿雁 swan and goose 一切 occupying 后让 robbing and stealing 猪蹄 pig trotter 冥想 muse 彪悍 tough as nails 嘎吱 creek onomatopoeia creek 全谱 simple and honest 赦令 amnesty 并肩 oops 并肩 side by side 面间 shy 喜欢 slow 渺小 minute 蔑视 to loathe 雌性 female 全服 curl up 斥骂 scold 破壁 shabby or shaggy 西宿 or onomatopoeia rustling. All right, that is a wrap. Oh, do we have another at everyone? All right, okay. Hang on, I gotta remove the bot from Discord. Let's see what type of bot this is. Oh, same difference. Same thing. Mr. Beast thing. The guy used the bot used a Skeletor avatar. Very topical. Alright, anyways, that's a wrap for HanziHero today. If you're gonna watch this later, 谢谢. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up HanziHero for yourself, give it a go. You're always welcome to come on by and share, discuss, keep each other motivated. Until next time, 大家下次见. 感谢观看. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. I'm gonna get up, take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back for some Dave the Diver. So be right back. Thank you.